let's talk about something that might get me in trouble. Boomers, the baby boomers, they didn't just leave us with a messed up economy. They rigged the system, cashed out, and left the millennials and Gen Z holding the bag. Now, I'm not saying every baby boomer is at fault, but when you look at housing debt, healthcare, retirement, education, and the environment, the pattern is clear here. Boomers lived through the best financial setup in history and then pulled the ladder behind them. So let me break it down for you guys piece by piece, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let's start off with housing. Back in the 1970s and 80s, boomers could buy a house for 2 to 3 times their annual salary. Imagine making $40,000 a year and buying a decent house for $100,000. That was totally doable for them. Fast forward to today, the same house that they bought back in the day is costing us 7 to 10 times worth our annual salary for millennials and Gen Z. And millennials and Gen Z are being told, just work hard, save money, and go buy a house. Except the math doesn't add up anymore. And why is that? Because boomers locked in decades of equity growth while also fighting to restrict new housing developments. Zoning laws, NIMBY policies, and endless red tape, all pushed by homeowners who wanted to see their property values grow year over year. And the result, they sit on massive amounts of home equity. We're stuck here paying for overpriced apartments or taking insane amounts of debt just to have a place to live. Let's start off with debt. Boomers oversaw the explosion of debt. In the 1980s, leaders embraced tax cuts while still spending heavily. Instead of paying down debt during the good times, they normalized deficits. And it wasn't just the government. Credit cards, mortgages, and auto loans exploded during this era. Borrow now and pay later. Well, guess who's paying for it later? Millennials and Gen Z inherit trillions of dollars in debt obligations, Social Security, Medicare, interest payments on debt. We're on the hook for paying for a bill that keeps on growing, and we didn't even get to enjoy the party. Boomers also gained retirement. They grew up with pensions, guaranteed income for life after decades of work. They also went to college when it was basically free, and they got jobs with strong unions. But once they were in charge, they dismantled pensions and replaced it with 401ks, risky market-based accounts that shift all the responsibility onto the workers. Now, Social Security is still unreformed. They knew the system wouldn't be sustainable as the population aged, but instead of fixing it, they kicked the can down the road. So they get pension checks, we get told good luck gambling your retirement in the stock market. Oh, and Social Security, that might not even be there for you. And let's talk about how the economy itself got reshaped during their era. In the 1980s and 90s, deregulation turned Wall Street into the center of the universe. Finance became less about funding real businesses and became more about financial engineering, junk bonds, leveraged buyouts, and stock buybacks. Boomers rode the wave. They saw their 401ks and home values explode. But the side effect? An economy that's fragile, unstable, and built on bubbles. Millennials and Gen Z now live in a fragile, bubble-driven economy. And every crash that happens sets us years back, while the wealthy just keep on buying more assets on the dip. And here's the painful one, education and healthcare. Boomers went to college when it practically cost nothing. Tuition in the 1970s was a few $100s per semester. Today, it's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars just to have a degree. And why? Because during their era, government decided to back unlimited student loans. That let colleges jack up tuition prices endlessly. And who suffers? Millennials and Gen Z, buried under student debt that follows them for decades. And healthcare is the same story. Boomers saw costs rise, but under their watch, it spiraled out of control. Now, younger people are stuck paying insane amounts of insurance premiums or just tied to a job just to have healthcare. They got affordable entry, we get debt traps. Boomers also chose short-term profits over the future. Cheap oil, endless suburban sprawl, no long-term climate planning. The focus was immediate growth, not sustainability. And here's the kicker. Central banks cheered on baby boomer leaders, kept interest rate low for decades, and bailed them out during every financial crisis. Sounds right, but what it really did was just inflate prices. Stocks, bonds, housing all went through the roof. Boomers owned the assets, so they got richer. Millennials and Gen Z are being told, just invest early, work harder, and hopefully you can buy a house. But when do we even get a chance to invest or buy a house when everything is so insane and inflated? They cashed out and we got kicked out. So here's the bottom line. Boomers didn't just mess up things a little bit. They benefited from the greatest financial setup in history: cheap housing, affordable college, strong pensions, and stable jobs, and reshaped the system to protect their gains at the cost of future generations. Now millennials and Gen Z are the ones that are inheriting crushing amounts of student loan debt, sky-high housing costs, weaker retirement safety nets, a bubble-driven economy, and looming cost of climate change and debt crisis. Now this doesn't mean just throw your hands and give up. It means we need to understand the game that we're playing now, because you cannot win a rigged game unless you know the rules. So if you're a millennial or a Gen Z, the key is to stop chasing the same paths that work for baby boomers. Housing, pension, stable career, those systems don't work anymore. We have to think differently, build new ways how to increase our wealth, use the technology that has been given to us, and push for policies that will address these situations, because here's the thing, they will not fix it. So it's up to us to fix the situation. So thanks for watching the video, you guys. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below, and I will happily answer those questions that you guys have. If you do want to invest and become financially independent and grow your portfolio, go ahead and click the links down in the description, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you again for watching and supporting our channel.